All right, hello everyone. Welcome to our next kind of lesson here on motivation and emotion. So for today, we're going to look at motives and social needs. Our objectives and standards to describe elements of social needs and how they relate to motivation, and analyze theories involved in social needs and motivation. And take a moment here to read over the standards, if you would, please. And our desired result is what social elements play a role in motivation. Vocabulary, we have fundamental need, a biological need that must be satisfied to maintain life. A psychological need is an urge to belong, to give and receive love, and the urge to acquire esteem. And self-actualization need is the pursuit of knowledge and beauty or whatever else is required for realization of one's unique potential. So motivating through interaction. Some psychologists, as we know, focus on unlearned biological motives that are supposed to motivate us, such as hunger, thirst, safety, things like that. While there are other psychologists who will focus on social motives or our interactions with our environment or other people and how they motivate us. Now, concerns about achievement motive involves a desire to set challenging goals, despite obstacles, setbacks, and frustrations. David McClellan, that gentleman right there, is a reason why achievement motivation became very researched. He wanted to find some quantitative way of measuring social motives. He wanted to find a way why people seek achievement and how do they look at achievement. So McClellan's main tool was the thematic appreciation test, or the TAT, T-A-T. It consisted of a series of pictures, I'm going to show you them on the next slide, that participants are told to make up a story about what is happening in each picture, and they're also known as projective tests. Now, there are no right or wrong answers, but responses are created from participants' own views, beliefs, and attitudes. So for example, he would show people these pictures. Obviously, on the one on the left-hand side looks like a woman scientist being observed, and then this one on the right-hand side might be a story about romance or love or something like that. And he would ask people to make up a story about what was going on in these pictures. McClellan developed a scoring system based on TAT results, so participants would receive a higher score on images if the main character was focused on standards of excellence, high levels of performance, such as maybe the scientist inventing something, or in the other picture we looked at with the romance, possibly with the pursuit of a long-term goal. Now, those who scored a high need for achievement on these tests frequently showed persistence on tasks or the ability to perform better on tasks. They typically set challenging or realistic goals. They would maybe compete with others for winning, and they were frequently attracted to challenging tasks or careers. Now, both groups of participants who scored high and low in these tests were compared later on in life. Of those that he had tested with the TAT in 1947 at Wesleyan University, McClellan found out later on that 83% of them who had scored high had chosen some type of career that involved initiating projects on their own, and 21% of those who had scored high on the TAT test has chose non-entrepreneur careers, so things that maybe didn't require you to take charge or seek challenging tasks. Now, David McClellan did not believe everyone should train themselves as high achievers. That wasn't his goal as this. His purpose was to find out that people who scored high in achievement may not always be the most interesting or artistically sensitive. Intimacy can also be valued less by those who scored high in achievement tests. And if they do seek intimacy, they frequently seek intimacy with those who also are high achievers. Now, despite some results, some critics have claimed that these TAT stories are difficult to score since people's thoughts and feelings cannot be objectively analyzed. Now, the fear of failure. Achievement can serve as a motivation for some people. However, Fear of failure can also motivate people, and it can be displayed in very different, numerous ways. For example, if people have a fear of failure, they may choose easier tasks to avoid any chance of failure, or they might select impossible tasks that have no real chance of success. Um, if a person is motivated by fear of failure, they often find excuses to explain their poor performance. For example, they may use an excuse to keep up a good image, such as maybe a track star may claim that their shoes were untied, and that explains why maybe they didn't run as fast or why they came in last. And these types of excuses may help a person feel better about themselves at the time, but they also prevent us from taking responsibility for our own actions as well. People can also be scared of success as well. An experiment was completed by Martina Horner that involved the fear of success. She did this in the 1970s. She asked 89 men to write a success story about a man named John after medical school. Horner also asked 90 women to do the same, but with a woman named Anne after she graduated medical school. Now, you have to remember that when the study occurred, medical schools were highly dominated by men, okay? And what she found out is that 90% of men wrote a success story about a man named John graduating from med school, while only 65% of women wrote a success story about Anne, who graduated from med school. Horner then identified another element of achievement motivation, what she called the motive to avoid success. Excuse me. There are people, like the women in the study, who are or were raised to believe that success in some careers is unlikely or odd. So remember that during the 1970s, most of the medical field was dominated by men, so many women felt that there was not a chance of success for them in the medical field. Also, some women felt that, according to the study, that if a woman was successful in a career highly dominated by men, such as the medical field in the 1970s, then she must be a failure as a woman in other ways, like maybe she was unable to get married, or maybe she was unable to have children, she was too busy to have a social life, or, take care of herself or her family. So, again, it was an interesting study that was done. So, Horner identified that the fear of success made some women anxious to be successful in a certain career. Now, they also did the study later on and switched the field, such as asking men to feel how they would be successful in the nursing career, because at the time many female nurses were available, not many male nurses. And it found out that it was also true for men, that many men felt that they wouldn't be successful in a female-dominated field such as nursing. So it could be reversed as well. So understanding other theories. Motivation and behavior can also be explained by other theories. Expectancy value theory was developed by J.W. Atkinson, and this sought to explain goal-directed behavior. So for example, your estimated likelihood of your success is expectancy, while what the goal is worth to you in value. Competency theory argued that too hard or too easy of a task does not teach us anything, so we must choose moderate tasks where both successes and failures may be instructive. So we learn from both a hard task and an easy task. We have to find something in the middle. Just to kind of further explain expectancy value theory, like how much value do you place on buying a house or starting a family? Some people may put more value on, buying a house and having a job, while some people might say, oh, I could live in an apartment, I don't need to have, a big mansion or a big house. So that's kind of hopefully explains a little bit better for you. Now, human wants and needs. In humanistic psychology, one of the pioneers was Abraham Harold Maslow. He believed that all human beings need to win approval and recognition, to feel competent, and to sense that they have achieved something. So Maslow also placed achievement motivation in the context of a hierarchy of needs all people share. You can see this in the triangle here. So he had three basic levels. He had the basic needs. I'm going to kind of block this off for you. The basic needs was the first level. The psychological needs was the second level. And then at the top were the self-fulfillment needs. Okay? Once we satisfy the needs at the bottom of the triangle, we move up to the next level to satisfy those needs and continue to move up. Now, we can always move back down a level if we're on a higher level and our basic needs are not met. But this was his basic hierarchy of needs. So the first level was the fundamental needs. Abraham Maslow started his hierarchy of needs with biological factors. These included things such as safety and security. Maslow stated that people seek to satisfy these fundamental needs to live, such as, we have, water or thirst. We also need food. We need something to sustain us, right? And we also need something to protect us or safety. So we need like a home or something like that. So those are the basic biological needs that we need to seek and fulfill first. The second level is the psychological needs. It includes things like the need to belong, to give and receive love, and the need to acquire esteem and achievement. He argued that these needs, just like biological, can only be filled by an outside source, so by something else or by somebody else. If there is a lack of love or esteem, it can make a person feel anxious or tense, and if people cannot receive these things, or do not receive these things, they might be drawn into random activities that kind of go against society if these psychological needs are not met. And the top of Maslow's hierarchy, at the top of Maslow's hierarchy needs are the self-actualization needs. These can include things such as the pursuit of knowledge, beauty, or whatever else a person might need to feel good about themselves. For example, for a person to be creative, they need to first fulfill their fundamental and psychological, that should say psychological, my apologies, psychological needs. Satisfaction of those needs motivates us. Okay, so once we fulfill those needs, then we can move into self-actualization of making ourselves better and seeking those things that can improve ourselves. Now, there are, of course, other views to Maslow, some of those who disagree with him. Some psychologists do not agree that the needs of a level of the hierarchy of needs must be met before reaching the next level. For example, Christopher Columbus might have had some self-actualization about, hey, I can go and discover a new route to the sea or to a trade route and things like that. But he kind of put his own safety and the safety of others at risk by doing so. So he didn't really start at the bottom, he kind of started at the top. So it doesn't always have to be that way according to some people. And some people also argue that not all needs might be required for every individual. Some people might not need, love or things like that. Some people are okay being by themselves, and things like that. So that's just another view to Maslow. All right, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Please try your best on the questions that follow, and if you have any problems, let me know, and I'll talk to you soon.